Hey, good morning. Welcome to Hobby Evolution episode 14, I think 1484. And I did double check, but I'm pretty sure we're on 1484. Happy Tuesday. Good morning. Today I was actually going to do Hobby Evolution from the road for only the second time in 1,484 episodes. And of course, it was June of last year, the last time I did a Hobby Evolution from the road from an estate sale. And similar reasons today, I'm going to be hitting the road here shortly and heading to Chicago. And I'm picking up a collection, about 250,000 cards. The collection that was actually, I was conversing with the person probably a month ago on this particular collection. I did get I got the contact info from my buddy James, formerly now at the Awesome Card Shop in Vegas, formerly of Chasing Cardboard. And so the gentleman and I had chatted. He was kind of helping his friend out with the collection. And his friend wanted way too much. And, we were way off in price. I was at like 20% of what he wanted to get, his high price. So I'm like, I don't think this one's going to work. He's like, the guy I was talking with, he's like, I understand, that's probably where I would price it at as well. Talking about my number. And he did say that, it's like, I'll try to talk to him and we'll see. He circled back to me over the weekend and said, hey, do you still have interest? I think I can get him down on price. So we agreed on a price, and I'm going to be heading down there this morning. We don't have any chats. I guess that's what happens when you just kind of throw the video on it at 8:30, although it will help me get out of here on time. So that's what I'm doing today. My next eBay Live is tonight, Tuesday night. It's the 80s at 8 on eBay Live. And I bought a bunch of slabs on Saturday. Some of those went on eBay Live on Sunday night. So I'll have a bunch of slabs. Christian says, fine, I'm here. So I'll have a bunch of slabs tonight, rookie slabs from the 80s. Mikey had a great sale in his store. Oh, the Dallas trip, Cooter. Oh my God. I totally forgot. We went live on our way down to Dallas. Shit, Cooter, my bad. Yeah, it would have been the third time. So I bought Mikey's stuff came in. So I got some good 80s rookies from his eBay store. And then today there's a lot of 80s stuff, quite a bit of 80s slabs. There's some good rookie slabs, 80s rookie slabs. So I'll be adding to it to tonight. So there's going to be some good stuff. So the 80s at 8 tonight, 7 p.m. Central, 8 o'clock Eastern. Direct link to tonight's live stream is in my description. Tomorrow night on eBay Live, we are going to do a request. So tomorrow night, same time, 7 p.m. Central. Wednesday night, we'll do requests on eBay Live. And then Thursday and Friday up in the air. Still, if I do go live, it's going to be daytime, possibly morning. Thursday would definitely be a morning. We'll see how much shipping I have to do. It's kind of all dependent on my shipping, and it's actually not dependent on my eBay Live shipping because that's easy. That's fast. It's the other stuff. It's if I have, over the weekend, I had a bunch of multi-card buy it now orders, which is great. But it does take me a lot longer to dig through 20, 30 boxes to pull those cards. So that slows me down. Brian has a good question here. Brian says, do people cancel a lot after auction? FOMO is expensive, I'm seeing. LOL. So yes and no. So I typically get about 2 cancels per auction. And the funny thing is, the cancellations I get are not what you would think. When you see some of the prices, some of the stuff that sells for the prices it sells at, you're like, oh, that's going to be a cancellation. Those are the ones that get paid. The ones that don't get paid are like $1 for a Aaron Judge. I had to cancel my last show. I had to cancel request on a $2 card. That was Sunday night. I only had one cancellation. Now, I do have a few that have gone unpaid. Um, I've had some bigger orders go unpaid. I had like a $75 order go unpaid. I'm kind of glad it did because when I reran the cards, they sold for more than what they sold for originally. So I was happy with that. But some of the stuff that you see sells so high, no, gets paid for and all is good. Brian says the Shaq slab you sold for 35 as a PSA 6 sells as a 9 for 35. Paid for. All paid for. The let me see what's not. I had one cancellation request from Sunday night. Let me see what is unpaid because I think there's a couple unpaid yet. But it's Tuesday morning, so it's not, I'm 3 business days on shipping, so I'm okay with 3 business days for payment. Let's see. One is not paid, but I think he's bought for me before, so I'm not worried. They bought for me several times. This was a new one, but it's a lower card order, lower card. So only 3 unpaid from Sunday night. And they're all lower card or lower dollar amounts. So yeah, we'll see what we can do tonight. 80s at 8 o'clock Eastern, 7 o'clock Central, eBay Live direct link in the description. Again, I'm going to be hitting the road here in the next half hour, heading down to Chicago, picking up a collection of about 250,000 cards. I can actually show you. I've got them in my email. Share screen. So, and I'm going to be honest here. This is a collection that I would not have touched. I would not have touched this collection if it was not for eBay Live. So this is a whole box of 1979 tops. Probably going to be mostly commons. Obviously, some of the stars are out on top. I highly doubt there's going to be an Ozzie Smith rookie in this box. But maybe if there's some Rod Carews and Lou Brocks and stuff like that, make a few bucks on the 79s. There's a ton of slabs. Now you see there's like a couple 84 Donruss slabs. Now these are probably slabs that might go for a couple bucks. But there's a couple Maddox rookies, an SGC 8. I think that's a PSA 8 on the tops. The Bo Jackson's an 8 or maybe it's a 7. You got a couple Biggio rookies, a whole bunch of Reggie Jackson for some reason. So that's stuff that, is decent. There's a Fisk rookie that's a 2, I think. A Paul Skeens tops now rookie in a SGC 10. So there's some decent stuff. The Trout, I've had really good luck selling Trout lately, with the exception of my blue auto. So a bunch of, lower end slabs, a box of old vintage. This is stuff that'll probably just go in my eBay stores, buy it now. Maybe I do a 70s night if there's enough like minor stars, but I'm not going to list Ted Abernathy, Dick Williams, and Luke Walker as a eBay Live auction. Bunch of vintage. You got a 69 in about the worst condition you can get on that Johnny bench. There's a bunch of 58 All-Stars, Eddie Matthews in there, Louis Aparicio, Ernie Banks. I think I've got a couple of those Banks, so I'll be listing that. Is that a Ted Williams in there? I can't quite tell. What else is it? There's 69 All-Stars, Carew and Yaz bench, Brooks Robinson. So I would say it's condition wise, it's lower end vintage, and it's also less desirable vintage because it's All-Stars and league leader cards. So obviously those don't have the premium that the regular base cards would. So and then I expect this to be all junk. Anytime there's flat rate boxes, I just assume that it's going to be junk wax commons. So we'll see. I'll open up, maybe I'll get a free box of diapers in here. I don't know. So I'll open up the boxes just to kind of see. It might be something that goes straight to my storage unit. There's some binders. I don't know honestly what's in the binders and stuff. And then boxes, I see some top loads up on the top box. Uh, a lot of them have markings like this is 81 top, 73, 73, 83, 76. I don't know if that's the case. Again, when I see those years on boxes, I assume that's because you go in probably your own card rooms or closets or basements or attics, and when you have boxes, how often are the boxes, essentially mislabeled? And probably 90% of the boxes I have in in my card room storage area are mislabeled. Probably, and maybe even more than 90%. So I take those years with a grain of salt. Would it be nice to have a bunch of 73s, a 5-row box of 73s? Yeah, but I'm not expecting that to be 73s. Although that could be the box that was shown in the previous picture. So that's what I'm picking up today. I got a good price on it, in my opinion. The price, again, the price they wanted out of the gate, a month ago when we started the correspondence was, way higher than I wanted. I was at 20% of what their ask, or their high end of their range. I gave them my range, and we settled on the low end of my range. Because again, it's not something that, you know, a lot of this is probably, a lot of this will probably end up just sitting for a little bit. A lot of the stuff, I shouldn't say a lot of the stuff because there's 250,000 cards, but the slabs, especially the 80 slabs, those will go on Take a Drink RS Sizzle. Those will go on eBay Live tonight, 80s at 8. I'm going to put those on tonight and we'll move through some 80s stuff. Some of the other stuff will probably wait. And, a lot of the 70s stuff, I'll probably just put in a box. And when I get some time to list on Buy It Now, those will go up in my eBay store as a Buy It Now. So we'll see. We'll see what, the vintage will probably, I'll list for the 50s vintage, I'll list as a Buy It Now, before the 70s commons. Because those it can be kind of a slow, especially the commons can be a really slow move. Although I am having decent luck moving the 74s that I listed. I listed about 274 tops, and I've been moving the commons and the stars. The Nolan Ryan sold over the weekend. I sold a batch of other stars over the weekend as well. So we'll see. So I'm working on that. There's another collection that we agreed on a price, and but he's now going through more because I'm like, well, do you have any more 80 stuff? And it doesn't have to be complete sets because he reached out and said I have some complete sets. And he's local. And he was a little high, and I said, here's what I basically offered him comps. 84 tops football, 86 tops football, and 87 tops football. So, and I basically offered him recent sold comps on eBay. So I paid comps on these sets, hoping that I can make above comps on eBay Live. Take a drink. So then I asked, do you have, I'd be interested in other 80 star rookies. He says he's going to go through his collection, see what other potential cards I have, looking to move some more of my cards. So just waiting to hear back on that one. And then I thought there was one other thing in the works. Now I can't remember. So that's what's up. So I'll be heading down to Chicago, like the actual city. I was hoping it'd be the northwest suburbs, but no, we're going down into the city. So, but I think it is north side. I think it is north side of the city. So it's not like I'm going to the south. It's not like I'm going to Calumet City or Gary. So that's what's up. Let's go say hello to the chat. We're gonna make it a quick one today because I've gotta go get some cash at the bank and to drop Ernie off at school. Hey, speaking of Ernie, he's upstairs barking at the neighbor dogs. Ernie is the dog of the month at Doggy Daycare. Do I have? I took a photo here. I'll email the photo and I'll just bring it up on my email. So Ernie is the my wife, because my wife is they email my wife, and she texted me or forwarded me the email. Where's Ernie? There he is. Here, and I'll show another picture. They do a photo dump on Sundays. So Ernie is the dog of the week or dog of the month at Doggy Daycare, Dogtopia. Where are we at? Gonna take a second. So he gets like a write up. His picture and his write up is on the front door at Doggy Daycare. So here's the picture of Ernie that was in this most recent photo dump. He loves to stand on two legs, and he's just kind of looking out. So sometimes they have the areas divided because he's in what's called the toy box, which is small dogs, but sometimes they have like the medium-sized dogs, and some of the medium-sized dogs are, very rambunctious. So they have a fence between the big dogs and the small dogs. So he was in the little puppy, and he was like looking out. He's like, I want to be with the big dogs. So that's Ernie last week at Doggy Daycare. And then so here I took a photo of, he looks sad in this photo. It's like, man, I wish they would have chose a better picture. So there's Ernie, dog of the week, Ernie. Ernie is a fan favorite in Toy Box, especially known for his iconic romance with August. Power couple vibes. He loves wrestling with his buddies, playing follow the leader, and soaking up all the love from staff. He does love soaking up love from the staff. Ernie's besties, aka his Toy Box buffs, include Augie, that's his girlfriend, Millie, Spaz, and Jack. We love you, Ernie. So Spaz is like that's like when those two get together, it's trouble. When Ernie and Spaz get together, it's trouble time. Christian is here. What's going on? Good morning. Cooter says, he corrects me because I misstated that this would have been if I would have recorded live from the road, which I had intended to, but then I'm like, shit, it's only 8:15. I don't have to leave until like 9:30, 10 o'clock. So I have time to go on live here this morning. But the estate sale was the first back in June of last year. And then the second live, Hobby Evolution Live, was in Cooter's truck, driving down to the Dallas Card Show in November. I need to make it. Maybe we do another November Dallas Card Show. And really, I don't care about the Dallas Card Show. It's Oklahoma. It's the car. It's MM7 and the other. What's the other? Kirby's. Like, I want to go to the card shops more than the card show. Philly Joe's in the house. Good morning. Kevin's here. What's happening in Lakeland, Florida? We touched on Brian's question on the auctions. Peter is here. Good morning. Gem City says, good morning. Congrats on the collection. Can't wait to see what you got. And this is one of those, it's like, I really don't know. Let me see if I can go back to the top of the, all right. So it says, yeah, my friend has a card collection of over 200,000 cards. However, I'm not sure if it's something you'd be interested in, as a lot of it is bulk. I'll attach a few photos. We're both located in the Chicago area. Not sure if this is something you might be interested in. So he showed like there's like a 58 Robin Roberts and a 58 Richie Ashburn, some 55s and 56s, the slabs, the vintage box, the all-stars, the 79s, and then the bulk photos. So I said, I do. So yeah, so his price range was 10K, 7 to 10K. And I'm like, yeah. Not even close to that. We did, full disclosure, we did settle on 2. Let's see. There you go. So yeah, he passed it on and it fell through. Than that collection. All right. So we agreed on it. So I'm going to be picking it up today. So it might just be a bunch of junk, and It might be, I mean, in all honesty, I could lose money on this. I honestly could lose money on this based on it's kind of a blind buy. I know the slabs and the vintage, but I don't know if that's going to get me to 2K, right? So I'm kind of banking on some decent stuff that may not be in there, but you never know. There could be a box of what they consider bulk, and it's Barry Bonds and Mark McGwire rookies that a lot of people, toss in common boxes, quarter boxes. So you just never know. So we shall see. It could be a dud. It could be a swing and a miss, but at the same time, it could be something that I make a decent amount of money on. We'll find out. Unicorn Cupcake says, got one over on BBC Emporium. They had a rare and desired card with a similar name listed at the price of the very lesser desired card. Lucked out for once. There you go. Take a drink. eBay Live, baby. Philly Joe says, how often do you trash cards and what is the reason for throwing them away after you purchase a collection? So it's a good question. It kind of depends. Sometimes I just throw, if I need a box, sometimes if I need like a 400 count box for like a shipment, sometimes I'll just grab like, there's 88 tops in here, and I'll just dump the box in the trash can just because I need a box. Sometimes if it's usually the most I throw away is from Goodwill pallets because a lot of it's damaged. So sometimes upwards of 20,000 cards get thrown away because they're damaged. They may be in garbage bags. A lot of people donate baseball cards in garbage bags. And now I do go through them because I found a couple Kobe rookies top loaded in a nasty ass reusable bag. And I was about ready to throw it away. And I'm like, I'm just going to go through it. And I had to wash my hands because the bag was so dirty. Like in going through the cards, it was gross. So thankfully the Kobe's were top loaded. But yeah, I throw a lot of cards away. My storage unit, I can probably fill the back of my SUV with cards that I'm going to throw out. And a lot of the reason was, it could be for the boxes. It can be just for whatever reason. So I end up throwing a lot of cards away. And people ask, well, you should send them to give them to kids. It's like, but a lot of it's junk wax. Most of it's junk wax. Most kids don't want 89 tops, especially if it's beat up and corner dinged. And I don't want to waste time. I'm not going to ship it. I'm not going to spend the time to box it up and send it somewhere. Like, time is money. So, I can, if you want to drive to Madison, Wisconsin and pick it out of my garbage can, Wednesdays, cans at the curb, Wednesday mornings, you might find some cards at my curb. Unicorn Cupcake says, my first and only pedestrian card, Edward Weston, known for walking. Interesting. Red lights in the house. Good morning. Cody's here. Good morning. Watch the weather today. Oh, we're supposed to get bad storms, aren't we? All right. I've got all my windows shut. When's it supposed to storm? Because I'm leaving here shortly. Should be there by noon, back by 3, hopefully. Red light says that is a lot of boxes. It should fill up the back of my SUV. Because I think between the back seat and the very back of my SUV, figure I can get 200 to 250,000 cards. And then I can fit another about 50,000 in the front seat. So I did pick up pre-COVID. Man, we're talking probably 2016, 2017. I picked up about 300,000 cards in DeKalb, Illinois. And it took like every inch of space in my SUV. And it's a mid-size SUV. It's an Edge. So it's one tier down from the Explorer, one up from the other Ford SUV. What's the other one? The smaller one. Edge. And I think it also starts with an E. I can't remember. Escape. It's bigger than the Escape, smaller than the Explorer. Unicorn Cupcake says, what are the qualifications for dog of the month? I think it's just a popularity contest, really, in all honesty. I think it's just like, and I think they bounce it back between, because they have rooms. They have the toy box and then they have the big dog room. So I think it's like back and forth, like, okay, this month it's the toy box. Next month we got to pick a dog out of this. It's probably the dogs that are at doggy daycare the most. The ones that don't give the staff a lot of trouble. There was a dog yesterday. I was watching the video and oh my God, this dog was just terrorizing all of the other dogs. Just absolutely a menace to society. He's probably not going to be dog of the month. Dan's here. What's going on? Starting late. I'm starting late. Dan might be sleeping right now, or might forget this by tomorrow, but I don't have a starting time anymore. I'm burning the candle at not both ends because I'm not waking up early, but I'm staying up, and a lot of my eBay lives are in prime time. I'm not even done sending out invoices. Although, oh, by the way, I think I'm going to save about 20 minutes per auction now. This is the great thing about working directly with eBay is I have an eBay rep, and my eBay rep called me yesterday and said, hey, I think I figured out your invoice issue. How freaking awesome is that? And I'm like, thank God, this is going to save me 20 to 30 minutes each night or each day after I run auctions. So I don't have to combine the shipping, send out invoices, tell people wait to pay until you send an invoice, blah, 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 blah. So basically, combined shipping is a pain in the ass on eBay. Just flat out simple. That's why my buy it now section, shipping is priced in. It's free shipping because it's a pain in the ass to combine shipping. And, there's a button that says, where it says like shipping per item, 99 cents. Each additional item, and you can put your price in. So I put my price in 25 cents. You would think that would be 99 cents for each item plus 25 cents additional item. That's not the case, I learned yesterday. That means for an individual item with volume quantity. Who would have thought? I wouldn't have thought that. Most people probably don't think that. I would assume that's for multiple items. No, not at all. Not at all. So I had everything set up correctly with the exception that I have business policies. And then there are also rules. So shipping rules, payment rules, blah, blah, blah. The business policies and the shipping rule, your shipping business policy and your shipping rule have to talk, have to match up. Mine were not matching up because I didn't click one thing. There's one little box in your in the settings. That's why I always say, check your settings. And you go click down, and then there it is, eBay Live. And that's where my rule is. So my business policy now speaks to my rules. So tonight, take a drink on eBay Live. Hopefully I don't have to say the spiel, wait to pay until you receive a combined shipping invoice, and I don't have to spend a half an hour sending out shipping invoices after each auction. So we'll see tonight. We'll find out tonight if it works. John's here. What's up? Congrats to Ernie for being named Dog of the Month. We are proud parents. We are proud parents. Such a good boy he is, except when he steals baseball cards. Dan says, we going to have a group dinner one of the nights during the National. At the moment, I'm only planning to go one day, probably Friday. Yeah, I think so. I think we do it when everybody can be there. So if you're going to be there Friday, we can do it Friday night. At this point, I don't have any plans. And I think closer to the weekend, and the weekend is the best time to do a get together. Because Wednesday night I will be Wednesday's a late night, because doors open at like 3, and then it goes to 8, 7, 8. So that's a late night, and then Thursday night, and then I think Friday night or Saturday night would be a good night to do it. And I may do an eBay Live with inventory from the National. I guess it just kind of depends on what the Wi-Fi situation is at the hotel. Because if the Wi-Fi sucks, then obviously I probably won't go through with it. Good morning, Mark. Catching up late. Buy more bulk. How are early 90s baseball selling for you? These are all bonds, A-Rod, and the first hollow foil sets and SP sets. So steady. Junk wax era sells steady for me. In fact, I mentioned early in the program today that I had a big multi-card order, and it was about 50 cards maybe, and it was all junk wax era. It was all George Brett and Mike Schmidt, all from the 80s and early 90s. I had every once in a while I get a Tom Glavine buyer. And I sold 20 or 25 Tom Glavine cards about a week ago. So that stuff does move. It's not, I don't go out and source it specifically because it sits. Some of the Bretts and Schmidts may have been in my eBay store for 6 months to a year, or maybe even longer. So it's not like it's a fast mover. I'm not going to go out and source that stuff specifically. But some stuff I will. If it's a Bonds rookie card, if I can get it for the right price, I know I can move it pretty quickly. If it's a 91 Fleer, I've got enough of those in my stock that, if I get a hair up my ass, like I'm going to list 100 Barry Bonds cards today. And typically, I'll move volume of those types of players. So yeah, they move steady, but it's not immediate. I don't, if I have them laying around, I have the time, then I will list them, but I don't make it a priority. Dan says to John, dog of the month is like a participation trophy. As long as you're alive, you'll make the wall eventually. I think so. Funny thing is, so Ernie's been at doggy daycare for what, 6 months? Maybe longer than that, maybe 9 months. Funny thing is, my previous job, I worked there for 8 years. I never got employee of the month. We did employee of the month every month for 8 years. I never won it. The company I worked for, there were only 19 employees at the peak. I think by the time I left, there were 15 or 16 employees. It's not like I was working at a company with 400 employees and I never won employee of the month. It became laughable because one of the guys that won, multiple employees got fired and were employees of the month. One guy basically stole $100K from clients from misquoting and then made up emails trying to cover his tracks. He won like 3 times. He was making $100K more than he should have been. Of course, we're going to give him employee of the month. It was laughable, especially at the end. It was just absolutely laughable. So, and here Ernie gets doggy of the month. He's more likable than me. Unicorn Cupcake says, I like to burn the junk cards. Red Light says, what the fuck? Don't throw them away. I have to. I don't have room for them. Got to throw them away. Dan says, is a 4-row box worth more than the 1988 tops it can hold? Yes, 100% without question. A 4-row box is worth more than 2,000 to 3,000 88 tops. There's some decent Tom Glavine rookie. There's a Bo Jackson card in there. But for the most part, yeah, I'd take the 4-row box and dump the 88 tops if I needed a box. Unicorn Cupcake says it very well might be to Dan. Mike Good, what's going on? Take it to your local little league, give it to the kids to play t-ball, but then I have to make a special trip. Do the kids even want 88 tops? Long before they were born. See, that's why I don't do this, because A, I don't want to take the time to do this. And B, do kids want cards from the 80s? I would say most of them don't. Who do they collect? They don't collect Barry Bonds and Bo Jackson. They collect Shohei Ohtani and Mike Trout. Ziggy, what's going on? Live selling is the future. I love it. I am loving it. Ride the wave, baby. Unicorn Cupcake says, did you see your attempt to hold LRS to his YouTube claim to make weekly videos is now re-releasing his old videos every day? That is awful. I expected more from a self-employed skill game player. Where is low roll? See, once again, Low Roller Scratcher is not here, and neither is that 70s card show. Neither are in the same room. Makes you wonder, doesn't it? Tiger727 says, I'm hoping to be at the National on Saturday for most of the day. First time ever for me attending if I'm able to make it work. That's awesome. That is awesome. So, yeah, well, as we get closer to the National, and shit, where's Bargain Boxer? I think it's 57 days. So as we get closer, we'll try to get times lined up. And we'll do a Hobby Evolution gathering. Last year we did it at Shoeless Joe's, and I think that worked out well, with the exception of the loud old people band. I think we ended up going outside because we were like right up by the stage. It's like let's move this party outside on the patio. So, but we had plenty of space, and we had a good turnout. What did we have? Like 12 to 15 people at the get together 2 years ago. So I think we do same place, Shoeless Joe's, just down the street from the Donald Stevens Center. Unicorn Cupcake wants to know if Dan's bringing Menkos. Jody's in the house. Good morning. Dan says, if I have any left, I can. Are you going to the National? Are you wanting to buy? There you go. Hook them up, hook them up, hook them up. Good morning, Florida baseball card dude. Unicorn Cupcake says, I own none, but might buy some if I can get some knowledge about what I'm buying. Andy Mack says, no, the kids don't want 88 tops. And Andy is a teacher and has kids, and Andy would know. Dale says, who's the dog of the month for Hobby Evolution? eBay Live, maybe. Yeah, baby. Shane's in the house. What's up? Good God, not this shit about not throwing away cards again. Mark says, I'm down for dinner in Chicago. Yes, we'll do a Hobby Evolution, Shoeless Joe's. Unicorn Cupcake says, I can't peg LRS's accent. I don't want to ask him, though. Jody says, if you donate them, they will just show up in your next Goodwill Pal. I know, I'd have to take them to out of state or to a different donation spot. Dan says, the waitress was a looker, but terrible. That's a good memory. I don't remember our waitress. That's a really good memory, Dan. Mark says, I might be interested in every Menko. Have a decent buyer pool for them. There you go, Dan and Mark. All right, I got to get going. I got to drop Ernie off at school and hit the road. And don't forget, tonight, 7 p.m. Central, 8 o'clock Eastern. It's the 80s at 8 Eastern. And we're rolling out top rookies. Got my stuff from Mikey yesterday. So a bunch of rookies. I've got slabs, 80s rookie slabs. And I'm picking up more stuff today. So come on out to eBay Live tonight, 7 p.m. Central, 8 o'clock Eastern for the 80s at 8. Direct link is in the description to this video. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Have a wonderful Tuesday, and I will see you in what, 12 hours, 11 hours, 10 hours? See you then.